Today I want to talk about something that I don't talk about that often. It's something that for the longest time has had a huge impact on my life, but I've been too hesitant or too worried to talk or to continually bring this up because I feel like I don't want the sympathy that I felt a lot of people would give me if I frequently did bring this up. But my dad passed away back in 2011, just over 6 years ago, when I was going into my junior year of college. And something that I've never said before is that I'm really grateful that my dad passed away. And what I don't mean by that is that I'm glad that he's gone or I never wish to see him again. But I truly am so thankful for the struggle that presented to me and everything that has come out of that since then. Prior to my dad passing away, I was kind of on a one-track mind to be an engineer, make a good living, work really hard 5 days a week, and then on the weekends, be married, have kids, and go on vacation. And it was at my dad's funeral that it was held at the largest church that we could find in the Hillsboro area in Oregon. And I didn't know this at the time, but it was looking back on this and realizing that at this church that sat probably between 500, 600, maybe 700 people. And I was in the front row of the church, obviously, at this funeral. And afterwards, I was looking at the pictures, and there were so many people that had come to honor and pay their respects to my dad. It was incredible. There were people standing out on the sidewalks and in the walkways of the pews and whatnot. So there's close to, probably, people guessed that there was like 700 to 800 people that attended my dad's funeral. And the craziest thing to me was my dad was a PE teacher. He worked at the same school for almost 32 years as a PE teacher. And I remember growing up in grade school and in high school and having all my friends talk about how their dads were the VP of this one tech company, and someone else worked at Intel, and someone else was a police officer, and they had these really cool jobs, or jobs that I thought were really cool. And my dad, to me, was always just kind of the teacher that, it was fun. I got to go hang out and play dodgeball at the gym when I was in first grade, when I didn't have school and he did. But I never really looked at his job as an impressive job. And the thing is that since that time, I've been to a few funerals, and there are a decent number of people that normally show up to your funeral. But I realized that my dad, being a PE teacher and embracing that role, that responsibility that he had to teach people and to be an influence on kids' lives when they were, working on their physical ability and whatnot, to have over 700 people come to your funeral and just want to say, he was a good man, I respected him. It completely flipped everything over that I wanted, or that I thought I wanted in life. And more importantly, I think it catapulted me to a ridiculous, light speeds ahead of where I was on maturing faster, forcing myself to become an adult and become a man far faster than I think I would have had he not passed away. And so I said this probably 2 years ago. We had the grand opening of our Hillsboro office location, and it was amazing to see 80 people showed up from the Hillsboro Chamber and whatnot to our grand opening. But it was then that I realized that everything that I am doing now is 100% because of my dad. And in a weird way, and this is the craziest thing, it really is because my dad passed away that I am where I am today. Had my dad not passed away, I probably would be an engineer down in Orlando, Florida at Lockheed Martin, making really good money, but just not pursuing the level of purpose that I am now, because I know that all that really matters to me at the end is that I was a good person, that I invested myself into the work that I do every day, like my dad did, and that I have a lot of people at my, sorry, now you know this is real and there's no editing because there's bees flying around, but that at my funeral, that there's people that come to pay their respects to me, and that the one of the books that I received from my dad, I think when I was in high school, was called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And shortly after starting my business, so this was probably 4 years after my dad passed away, I decided to read this book. And it was a book, my dad was not really known for being a reader, but it was a book that he had on his nightstand that I assume he read. And one of the things that was in that book was start with the end in mind and think about the ultimate end for all of us, which is your funeral, and think about what you want to have happen at that funeral and what you want people to say at your funeral. What do you want to be known for when you're dead? And it was kind of a really cool gift that my dad had given to me years before that I didn't read or even think about reading until after my dad had died. And it was at this time where I had already been contemplating, what this meant and how impressive it was and amazing and just unbelievably grateful I was to be able to witness my dad's funeral when I was only 21 years old. And being able to, at that age, decide and realize, wow, this is what life is all about, and this is what's really important, completely changed and just revolutionized everything that I would have pursued in life. And so when I graduated college at age 23, it only took me 6 months in the engineering field to realize that I wanted to do something that I was more passionate about, and I wanted to build a business to influence people in a way that I couldn't influence just as an engineer at this one company. I needed something more, and I needed to use more of the abilities that God has given me to influence the world and to make the world a better place. Just like my dad used his God-given abilities to make the students of the Banks community better people through rope climbing and dodgeball and all of the simple things that he put so much care, time, and energy into. So that's what I feel like sharing today. It's kind of fitting. I'm in North Idaho in Coeur d'Alene, which is about 10-15 miles away from Rathdrum, Idaho, where my dad grew up. But I really am so grateful that my dad passed away, and I would also do anything to be able to have him back for another day, to sit with him for an hour, to talk to him about how grateful I am for everything that he's done for me. Because if it wasn't for everything that has happened, I just feel like he's taught me so much more than I realized and than he realized or than he ever could have imagined. He taught me so much more after dying than he did in the 21 years before. And he taught me a lot in the 21 years before. So, I just encourage everyone that's watching this, or that anyone that ever will watch this, you can't let the terrible things that happen in life be the reason that you don't succeed. And if anything, what I've learned and what I'm sharing today is you have to embrace everything that happens in your life. The good things, the bad things, and especially the really terrible, difficult things that we struggle through, because that is, without a doubt, in my opinion, those difficulties are the things that are going to make you a stronger person, a more mature person, a better writer, a better speaker, a more purpose-driven individual. Whatever it is, that's what's going to allow you to be unique and be yourself and be the person that only you are like when you start embracing these struggles and challenges in your life. So that probably is the worst thing that has ever happened to me. And I feel if I can embrace those moments, or that moment, and the fact that I lost my dad at age 21, there's so many other things and so many other problems that I can have that really just don't seem to matter in the negative way. They matter in incredible ways in what you can learn and gain from them. But that's the biggest takeaway that I have from reading the book The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday, and this idea of stoicism and just embracing struggle and pain and suffering, and looking for the positive in all of those moments. Thank you guys for watching, and thanks for listening to this more personal note on my dad and just how I have come to be the person and the man that I am today.